Wow.
So,
Bonk.
that's just great.
Waiting for links to load. Whoa.
What happened?
I loaded the Facebook Live events menu. I'm like, that's not what I wanted. I just wanted to put Toby in the post.
Okay, YouTube is running, and I see Andre. Pork is the best protein. Debatable.
If you're a pig, yeah, you might argue against it.
I guess that applies to me.
Okay. Getting the YouTube link. Turning on monetization on
That
the
was an
YouTube
eyelash.
Okay.
Andre mentions also only 40%. Okay, we'll get to that once the topic starts.
Statistics. Pork statistics. I don't know.
I can't see what I'm typing. There. You shared with FG.
I don't normally do a direct share. So you can
Yeah,
if you
I'll just do that.
Oh no, I'm super LSSing on the music, the background music of Theme Hospital.
Oh, that's not so bad.
Doctor, attending psychiatry, please. Nurse required in ward.
I think that's not so bad. I've been LSSing on work-related music. For the theme songs of certain shows have been running in my head.
But you can't say.
Yeah, I know. But it's still better than the other time when it kept playing Young Hearts Run Free. Because they kept using that over and over again.
Wow, so we're bringing up LOL Queendom.
Well, it's not a bad show. But
It's
man, sobrang gas-gas yung song.
But I think that ties to our speculation of like, I guess they're tied to a particular music label and have the rights to it.
But did they really have to play the exact same moment every time?
Because
over
it's
and
without
over?
lyrics masyad. So naka-loop lang yung instrumental.
It's always that moment. And then a few minutes later.
fabulous.
So,
And it's forever immortalized because in the movie, it was when Mercutio appears in drag. So
yeah.
that Prince of Cats.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Karen. Okay. Oh my god. Now my eyes are itchy.
Ironically, we did not buy pork chops today. There was none.
None. No pork chops.
Sad.
We have chicken, salmon, grown.
We didn't even have nice pork cuts for sinigang, so we didn't get sinigang ingredients. I mean, to be fair, I just cooked it today. the last batch.
Mm.
And then I can still reheat that and reconstitute with additional soup. So that's always good.
All right, I guess it's time we can start. This is Toby.
And this is Rocky.
And if it's your first time here, welcome to Baduy Pride, a little space on the internet where we talk about anything we want.
It's completely unscripted and not entirely accurate, but at least it's honest. Join us as we talk about everything and anything random live.
And if it's not your first time here, thank you so much for joining us again. Our topic tonight is pork. And this is because the previous nights we've had episodes on sandwiches and
It made people hungry when they suggest topics. So thanks to Kenny for suggesting that we talk about pork. And actually, his precise title suggestion was pork, parenthesis, yum. I don't know if he fully factored in the fact that we are going through a weird semi-pork shortage, or at least not that we're totally bereft of pork, but there is constraints because of African swine flu going around and whatever pork manufacturers complaining about transportation, export, whatever tariffs. It's a whole thing, guys, and so it's kind of harder to get pork products as easy before. And it's kind of sad because since I switched to keto 2 years ago, oh my god, well, more than 2 years ago,
yes,
pork has been one of my best friends. I don't know how to structure this. Do we want to define pork?
see, you're learning.
You said that again. You make it sound like I'm stupid.
No,
Stupid or what?
No, you're learning my techniques.
Again, you're saying that it takes me a long time to learn things.
No, it's just that you're finally agreeing it does help.
No, I'm just making fun of you. That, oh my god, are we going to define pork?
So what is pork? And why is pork not beef?
Because it's from a pig and not a cow. And that's just how we call it. Mina is surprised about the pork concerns. Oh my god, yes. You know there was a headline that the president was mulling declaring a state of emergency over the African swine flu concern. So our pork now is like getting shipped up from the likes of Davao or something.
And if you're doing your groceries anytime soon, interestingly, at least I'm not sure if it's everywhere, but SM Aura, a lot of vegetables are suddenly at half price.
That was weird.
So we don't.
There was
know,
a surge of.
So
vegetables.
We don't know if it's they have too much stock or maybe
they overordered.
Yeah, but lettuce was practically barely 40 pesos for a head when it used to be like 80. So that was amazing, and you might want to go grab groceries when you can tomorrow. But going back to pork. So pork.
Wow. Pigs were domesticated in Mesopotamia around 13,000 BC.
Bacon.
Charcuterie is the branch of cooking devoted to prepared meat products such as bacon, ham, sausage, terrines, galantines, pâtés, and confit, primarily from pig. Originally intended as a way to preserve meat for the advent of refrigeration, these preparations prepared today for the flavors, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Yeah, that's enough Wikipedia reading. So yeah, I have no idea why it's called pork. If we want to get into etymologies, that would be interesting.
I can try looking
Pork's gonna look it up. Toby's gonna try to look it up.
Pork.
There are some who say that pork is like particularly a particularly famous meat in Asia. But actually, when you look at Wikipedia, they say that it is not only the most popular meat in Western Europe and in Central Europe, it's very, very popular in Eastern and non-Muslim parts of India, Southeastern Asia, including us, Indochina, Philippines, Singapore, East Timor, and in Malaysia. Highly prized in Asian cuisines, especially in China, for its fat content and texture. But of course, some can't eat pork.
So one cites that the Middle English pork is via Anglo-Norman from the Old French pork, swine.
P-O-R-C. Pork.
Yeah, or the Latin porcus, which is domestic hog, or Proto-Indo-European porcos, or sweet.
Young swine, young pig.
But then there's the other one that cites the surname porculier, which is flesh of the pig as food, from Old French porre, which is pig. So I'm not sure. It's interesting that it must have gotten popular at some point. And
pork. I've always been a pork fan, I guess you could say. I mean, like, we grew up with pork chops for forever and a day. As much as you can enjoy a steak as a special occasion, but then like pork was always more accessible, and therefore
Mhm.
pork chops are always a thing. And then like same thing with like I'm a weird like sinigang purist that my sinigang is almost always pork sinigang,
Even if you can have it with
salmon or bangus, or
shrimp.
I would always favor um, sinigang na baboy.
Mhm.
So I don't know about you. What is your what are your feelings on pork?
Well, I always like pork. I
Pork.
I
What did
think
you do?
I think
Pork,
barbecue
pork,
was
pork.
the earliest memory I have of enjoying pork, wherein I recognized it as pork. I'm sure there were other meals I had without realizing those were pork. Um, but for
The chief among them like hot dogs. What exactly are hot dogs?
hmm, and I
Hmm.
know for the longest time, um, my way of recognizing pork was if there's fat, it must be pork.
Yeah, because that was always the thing, right? That pork, ironically, because of its structure, tends to have more visible fat,
Mhm.
whereas beef has marbling, where the
And
fat
that's the
is
thing, right?
intertwined. Yeah.
Many have this misconception that pork is unhealthy because there's a lot of fat. But the fact is, it allows you to take it away if you don't want to eat it. Whereas beef,
Yes.
you have no choice. It's part of the meat. So they're both yummy, um, but they're not necessarily one is healthier than the other because there's more fat.
Mina mentions she remembers the evil Dr. Porkchop, which is a Toy Story reference. Okay, and then Andre says the pork sinigang master race, and also liempo and pork chop. Oh,
Okay,
wait, how is this? Andre shared statistics
yes,
earlier.
yes, that's nice.
Also, only 40%, about 40% of pork is not sure, is eaten fresh, while the rest is cured or preserved as ham, sausages, and meats. And I wonder if that is a more Western statistic than an Asian one, because I feel like we are much better at using more of the
Yes,
pig.
I feel like we practically use everything.
And I don't know why there was a period of time, especially like when I first understood tripe, and I know tripe is a beef product. It's a cow derived product. But I got into trying sweet meat type things, so that when they pointed out that um, uh, things like, oh, it's like it has the cheek or whatever, then
Mhm.
ooh, then I'm interested, then I want to try it and all these things. Um so I got curious about CC when early on, although I must admit I'm like just okay with CC. It's like I didn't think it was like amazing, like knock my socks off. I didn't quite feel like why we were eating this instead of ground pork, meat,
Mhm.
whatever. It's like because the texture is very
Well,
similar.
I like the texture of sisig because it sort of like it felt like you were eating. It's not like you were eating micro barbecue.
Because it crisps up.
Those small crispy portions that have fat and meat. Whereas ground pork, for example, it doesn't even taste like it doesn't feel like pork when you eat it. So that's what I like about sisig.
Mina says her favorite is lechon, barbecue, and babad sa toyo.
Mhm.
But we can't do barbecue as much as we used to, right, Mina? Because and that's like that as much as pork has been like my best friend still in my keto transition. Um, a lot of our preparations are not so great, especially when it's marinated and stuff. And I'm always like, what's in the marinade and what's in the glaze and what's in
Mhm.
the sauce. So I don't know if you like if people who are our friends on social media, you'll notice that more often than not we have grilled pork chops, liempo, whatnot, roasted.
Mhm.
It's like a lot of dry preparations because it's easier for me, so
Mhm.
that I don't have to worry about it. Whew.
So according to Pork Checkoff, which is a website, I was expecting it to be very pork favoring, but chicken still is.
Slightly more the most consumed meat around the world as of 2020, but pork is still the second most consumed
Mhm.
animal protein. I think chicken is just because of availability and the fact that there are religious restrictions on pork.
That's true. That's true.
So that will always limit the thing. Mitch says bacon should have its own episode. We can consider it. Oh, Karen earlier. Oh wait, sorry. Go ahead. So Andrea Core cites that our cuisine does seem to have a lot of like our ability to consume most of the pig. Sisig for ears, pata for the feet, blah blah blah. Street food, body parts, isaw, tenga, and even blood. That's true.
Mm.
Mina likes the sisig at SNR. I have never tried. I've only tried the chicken and the liampo thing. Karen says she misses Tom's crispy pata and mascara, face of pig.
Oh yeah.
That's intriguing. Okay, which reminds me, we really, really need to get around to trying pepetons. What's the pig? Their
Yeah.
pig preparation, kapalmoks or
Oh,
something.
kapalmoks.
I'm very intrigued at this
Mhm.
whole. It's a pig face thing. Um, Mitch says Bacon should have his own episode, and then it's only in QC, that particular restaurant that Karen likes. Okay, that's
Mm.
tricky. Oh my god, we barely left BGC over the past 12 months. Our only major trips out have been to Toby's family in Parañaque, but then like otherwise we haven't
Yeah.
been going anywhere. So
Well, we're keeping things safe.
yes.
So what else? I've always been fascinated by the different cuts. Everything from the shoulder to the
Yeah.
belly
And I always wanted to
to
understand how
the
that
ribs
works.
to the loin.
Even as basic as like the difference between Kasim and Piggy.
Mhm.
And like what is the difference? Like I always forget. I know someone told me. So let's take this moment to look it up. Okay. So
there.
Kasim
So
is more
Kasim's like the back of
shoulder,
the
and
shoulder.
Piggy is like near the butt.
The ham is the piquet.
Yeah. Kasim is shoulder, Piggy is ham.
And then you have the liempo portion, which is the belly.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have the pata, which is basically known as the hock. Um, so pata was one of the things I never was brave enough to try cooking.
What do you mean?
And I mean, there's supposed to be that long. I don't know if it's marinating is the term, but you do prepare
Like you
it.
brine it.
Yeah, you brine it overnight, if I remember correctly, and then the cooking is intense heat, but there's a lot of
Basting and whatnot.
basting over
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And I remember Urim was able to do that, but I was like always wondering, I wonder if I'll ever be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. Funnily, then I'm just gonna. We have no structure for this episode as always, so we're gonna jump around like random. For
Mhm.
example, we always get the pork ribs from Rax and not the beef ribs,
Mhm.
because as much as the Rax is able to cook even the beef ribs down to like a really nice soft texture, I don't know. I like the pork ribs better, and then it's a little cheaper. Then it's like quite sulit. I don't know.
Andre asks, what's the weirdest pork dish?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, like many will, of course, like from a Westerners looking at Asia, then will always say things like sisig or siniga or dinuguan.
I'd say paksiw.
Paksiw, why is that the
I
weirdest pork dish?
I always find it weird when I have paksiw because I don't. How do I explain
Paksiw
it?
is just an important step in the lechon life cycle. It's like you have the fresh lechon, you enjoy the skin, it's yummy,
And then
and then the night ends and you still have a lot
so
of
you cook
lechon.
it more, so it becomes paksiw. So
Yes.
but it always feels like it's been partially digested by someone else. I mean, for me, that's what
Because it's just like boiled some more and
yeah,
rendered down.
and there's that feeling for me. So I always find myself struggling to enjoy it.
Although paksiw is always like a minefield because then the little bone bits start to
Mhm.
break out, and then it's always like a lot of like things you have to pick out. Wait, so Mitch, of course, like, oh, if you want to understand, Chef Bake Jongwon has a show episode where he explains. I
Mhm.
don't know what this is. Karen also gets the pork ribs. Yay.
A pork dessert.
A pork dessert. I don't know. I mean, like I've seen like they candy the skin or something, and
Yeah,
like
there was that candied chicharon skin,
pork rinds.
which
or-
it was parang they caramelized it or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah. They added sugar and then
I
fried
could
it.
imagine it wouldn't be that weird. It would be interesting.
Chicharon, yes, and of course chicharon na bulaklak. And but chicharon in itself is fine. And
Mhm.
chicharon remains to be my go-to snack more than so. Instead of buying any of the fancy keto alternative, low carb
Mhm.
whatnots, I tend to just stick to chicharon more often than not. Okay.
So Mitch asks best or favorite lechon. Mina, of course, answers Alex's lechon, where she orders the sauce is the best.
You know, I have never really been like super. I don't have like a particular affinity for lechon. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, like in terms of a brand, like I can never tell you like if there's a particular lechon I like more than others.
Mhm.
But I'll always like enjoy when they come along and like, hey, as long as it was cooked well.
Karen mentioned Cebu lechon for her. I
I'm intrigued though, but like I think, and I've tried a few, and there's definitely a slightly different cooking style, and then I feel like there's a slightly more like vinegary approach to it, or is that also just the dip instead of toyo? It's more vinegar. I mix things up.
Mhm.
Um, okay, Mitch is like referring to pork parts. He has a show in Netflix, Korean Pork Rhapsody. Must not watch during late night. Oh, it's even worse for us because we're on fasting,
Mhm.
and so and sometimes my idol my idol YouTube play, like when we're busy with stuff and I like leaving something on the TV, is there's this YouTube channel that's all Korean street food. It's just all these people cooking things.
Andre mentions there was the bacon ice cream, which actually wasn't so bad. I've had that. It's because it's candied bacon, so you don't really taste it as meat. You really taste it more as a salty sweet topping to your vanilla ice cream. So that
Mm-mm.
wasn't weird for me.
So let's think about it. What are the pork dishes we can actually cook? So you do a lot of roast. So you
Mhm.
roast or bake pork chops. You've learned to like marinate liempo now
Mhm.
because there are like days like this where we can't find pork chops. We end up buying liempo.
There's a time we used to do kare-kare.
But
We
that's more beef.
Yeah, you're right. And then there was sinigang.
So I still make sinigang. So yay. I just take out the starchier stuff. So and sadly I don't have gabe, which I kind of miss. But carbs. Then what else do we make? Um, we still have sausages,
Yeah.
that in the mix of things. But that's like the regular stuff. Because and then some of my soups use ground pork, or I turn it into like
Mm.
in my lettuce, my cabbage mix stir fry thing. Then I
Mm.
use the ground pork also.
Yeah, we do some stir fry stuff. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it. We don't really have much other dishes.
We don't have a wide range. We're very repetitious,
We
but it's
haven't
also because I'm also very narrow in
we
what I can
haven't
eat.
made our own sausages. We haven't been daring enough to do other stuff like make pork burgers or something.
Pork patties.
Yeah.
Ooh, my grandma used to make great pork patties, and but then she tend to use carrots as extenders.
Oh, Andre brings up we forgot some.
Oh yeah, okay, but we get the beef. We get wusangyup, which is beef belly, and it's mainly because it's like we're gonna order, might as well get beef, and
Yeah.
then
It's the good one without marinade.
and I'm limited to whatever is not marinated. So
Because pork,
a lot of the porks go well with
yes,
marinades.
they
I
go
will
well with the
concede.
sweet marinade. But for samgyup, they only usually use beef with the salt and pepper marinade.
Karen says pork isaw better than chicken isaw. I'm on the fence because I do like a lot of chicken isaw.
But
So
isn't pork isaw ng bulaklak?
depends on the part. Kasi nga, then you have things like there's the blood and whatnot, and the cheek. Parang they'll fry
Oh,
also
I thought
and bit.
isaw was basically the intestine.
Oh, technically it is no, but then like yeah, I don't know. I like chicken isaw. Um, Samgyup is actually pork belly in Korean. Yeah, but you know how it is. We call the whole cuisine Samgyup salad,
Mhm.
and it's like we're not actually all just cooking pork. And then yeah, when you go to a lot of these Korean barbecue places, then most of them are marinated, and I dare not risk marinades because I'm always worried that there's sugar. Oh well. Blood sausages. I'm always intrigued by that. I would like to try. I mean, like I'm okay with dinaguan, but then so I figure we can handle a blood sausage.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just more finding where to get it.
That is true.
That's the trickier part. I'm realizing though that I pretty much kept to the basics when it came to pork. I think I was more daring with beef and cow. Because like
That's the same.
I mean, um, so like when we had ox brain, and stuff. Right?
Okay.
That,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
kind of explored more with
And then same thing, like I love tripe. But
yeah.
that's like beef
So
stuff, the cow stomach.
so we haven't really been that creative or that daring with pork, or rather, we haven't really seen options that were that daring.
Mina mentions pork floss, and yeah, that's
Oh,
fun.
that's
I
good.
miss pork
Yeah,
floss.
that was
But
good.
then it was always a question of what do we do with it. For the longest time during our Singapore trips, we used to bring home pork floss, and then Toby would be always like he'll fry an egg and then like
Mhm.
coat it with pork floss.
Or get vanilla ice cream and put a little bit of pork floss.
Or what I also used to do was I would make a pork floss sandwich, which is really just bread, mayo, pork floss,
Yes.
and then bread. Can't have that anymore. I don't know. I could probably try with my keto pandesal bits.
Karen mentions blood sausage. Tried it at a French restaurant.
Ew. Oh, or I feel like, or like some sort of an English pub style restaurant would probably have, like a classic English breakfast with a pork sausage, with a blood sausage. That should be intriguing.
That place,
Not English.
no, the one near my old office, the one where they cook the meat in not boiling water for long periods of time in the bag.
Oh, sous vide.
Yeah. Wasn't there pork in that one?
I don't know.
Because we
which
got
place
the
this
set.
was.
Remember, we got that huge. It had the goat, the beef, the pork, the chicken in one tray thing, and we got it because
Was I with you?
yeah, because you had to be in keto. So we
I don't
chose.
remember having a goat thing.
Okay, wait, I'm confusing it. The one with the goat was the one with Aina.
Lamb.
Lamb.
That was like a SEMA
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
but the one here didn't have lamb.
I don't remember.
Because we did get that set
With the
before.
meat platter. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. That was like that. That was like Zoop, which is also by SEMA.
Yeah.
Andre's like, what's pork floss? Oh, that's so sad. If you go to Bread Talk, and then some of the buns have like this.
Orange brown thing that's yummy on
Yeah,
top.
and then sometimes it's spicy, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
That's pork floss.
Mhm.
That's fun stuff. Wrap the pork floss in nori. Ooh, that works. That can
That's
work. Our main problem when we did get pork floss is that it was so hard to, because the bag's like this big, then it's so hard to finish, and then it reaches this point to put there's pork floss and everything.
Yeah, we were putting pork floss on everything.
Because it was like, because it separate as it gets exposed to air, it starts getting like I don't know, a little chewier, and so that's not fun. I've always been like, ooh, you know what is then I'm like, is it keto? Is I don't know.
Well, it's sweet, so I guess it might not be. It tends to be sweet, admittedly.
Oh yeah, pork floss has sugar. It's part of the curing process that it has sugar.
Because pork really does need
A
seasoning.
contrast.
Because
Yeah.
pork, as they say nga, may lansa. The meat has a
Like I forgot, I had a friend who like super hates the smell of boiling pork or like cooking
I
pork.
hate the
It's
smell
not great.
I hate the smell of boiling pork. It bothers me. Makes me think there's something wrong with the meat.
That's why I sinigang mix right away when I boil.
Mhm.
Oh, but then
And
the
then supposedly
fat is
there's
so nice.
there's supposedly also that layer you have to boil up
Yeah, like
first
the scum, whatever
before you
that you have to
actually
scrape
do
off.
cooking.
Mhm. Mine is like, oh no. See, mine, sugar is everywhere. I'm always careful. Ladies and gentlemen, Mina and I have already mapped out a show that we're going to do one day, and it's going to be, Is This Keto? And my job is to say, no, it is not keto.
I feel like every episode, people get to vote how many Mina will get correct.
I don't think she needs to get it correct. It's fine. It's like she
No,
needs
she'll
whatever
be,
you
she'll be
want.
like, I don't think this is keto. Ta-da!
It'll be a game show for
Yeah.
Mina. And really, I'll just come in and say, no, it's not keto.
or we could like challenge round. taste both and figure out which one is the keto version.
I mean, seriously, guys, I have reached the point really that if there's any sugar additive in it, I taste it right away, and I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, then I'm like, oh, this is sweet. Gotta stop eating.
Okay, so in terms of pork dishes, um,
My frustration is adobo.
mm,
Like it's the classic Filipino dish. I want to like I've always wanted to master it, but then like the few recipes I've tried following, I end up with this super oily non-saucy adobo.
mhm,
And admittedly, I grew up like I want there to be some sort of sauce. I don't like it when it's just oil.
mhm.
And I can't figure it out. I can't. And I like I end up burning the onions or something and to that. So I've never been happy with the few times I've cooked adobo. It's a frustration. So if people can help me with like what is a way to make a nice sauce filled adobo that doesn't have sugar, let me know.
Pork steak was something that I tried to cook, and I don't know if I cook it right because I always feel like I overcook it.
And I think the challenge of pork steak is often that what's this? Unlike pork chop, where it either has a bone or the fat to sort of
Mhm,
like give the thing shape, but then pork steak is always that weird like loin area cut or whatever.
mm,
So it's a lot more flowy, and then the pieces tend to like come apart quickly.
mm.
It's like a few times you bought pork steak, it's like more often than not they fall apart and then they become pork steak chunks.
Or they're like tiny tocino
It's like
because you have the caramelization
pork
happening on the
pork
meat.
tips.
Yeah.
I don't know. Karen's like twice cook adobo. Karen, I need to figure out how to cook it once before I can
Yeah,
figure out the twice.
and in as much as I hate the peppercorns,
But it's part of the
you
experience.
have to have it in adobo. I've had adobo that didn't have the peppercorns and it felt weird.
Yeah, you need that strong flavor. Oh
Mm.
wow, Karen's like I miss crispy dinuguan. I have never tried the
Oh,
crispy
that sounds
dinuguan. That
yummy.
sounds
I
interesting.
don't think no, we haven't tried that.
My main sadness about dinuguan is that I was like many of us was conditioned to eat it with puto. And so
Mm.
I feel sad when I eat dinuguan now. I'm like, it's missing something.
Mm.
Carbs. And that's a shame. Like a lot of like good pork dishes are like really good sauces, and then you kind of want to blend that out. Or even things like the more Chinesey like asado and
Mm.
patatim and oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Karen, adobo and accidentally eating the
Yes,
laurel.
that's part of the cringe moments.
It's like you eat the laurel and bite a peppercorn,
And then
oof,
that.
your day is complete.
Um, there was that I've seen the ads. I think it was Marvin Agustin who had that piglet that's fried, that's lechon, and then he uses a plate to cut it. in
I
half.
haven't seen that.
Um,
Is that baka naman is that like for that what's that Uncle Jay's ba yun? Which is like Jericho
Yeah, I
naman?
think
Or is
so.
it Marvin?
but it's been haunting me, and I've been tempted to see if I'll order it, but I don't know if it's keto, so I haven't done so. I don't know if any of you guys know that.
I've never seen that commercial.
There, he has
Lechon
the
baboy.
homemade conchinilo.
Ah, okay, that's the Spanish dish, the little that spread out pig. We had that at like Mason's baptism reception thing at gallery
So there, see, cuts it
with a
with a
plate.
plate.
Wow.
Ah, it looks so yummy.
Okay.
So
Pork afritada. Oh, I've never really cooked pork afritada. But then again, I also stay away from tomato sauce because it's
now,
not
yeah.
super keto. And then same thing with all the other fun stuff that normally go into afritada, like potatoes and carrots. So none of that too. Oh well. Yeah, conchinillo is good. That's like, when we had it at the baptism, it's like that pig disappeared very quickly. Pork pochero sans the saba banana. Yes.
I like the banana.
Yeah, but it's
It's a
not
good.
keto.
It's a yeah, but it's
But
a,
that's only your favorite. Yeah, yeah.
okay.
But it's a. I admitted I appreciated pochero. Then it has that feeling of like eating nilaga, the way we eat nilaga, because we like do a tomato paste thing on the side, and then it's like pochero. Things I realized late.
Pochero confuses me when I eat it because it always feels like I'm eating the wrong dish. But I
What?
think, yeah, because it's the mix of the flavor with the sauce, and I keep thinking it's different dishes.
I'm like double checking something. Okay, keep talking. So see, Mina, like a can of a can of Del Monte tomato sauce, which is like an American proportion. So it's 1/4 a cup, has 3 grams of carbs, 2 of which are from sugar. So
And
then I'd rather not.
so if you're using a recipe that probably will use,
A liter, the ones like normally you buy them in like the big thing of tomato sauce. That's a lot of sugar. And that's a lot of carbs. So that's why I don't have anything tomato saucy. So sorry, Mina. It's not keto.
and then even bacon's tricky.
Yeah.
Because a lot of bacon is
Cured in sugar or
Cured in
honey
sugar.
or maple.
and you have to be careful finding the bacon that doesn't have that type of.
Yeah, so I have cursed Toby to like needing to hunt down uncured bacon to like limit his consumption, and then
Because a lot of bacon has a lot of sugar.
yeah, even sometimes when they claim it's uncured, but then you look like, but there's a lot of added suger for some
Or
reason.
they'll say sugar free, but then it's because they use honey.
Yeah, yeah.
So you have to be careful.
So my relationship with bacon is very tricky. More often than not, when it's like I encounter uh what's this? Oh, for example, Sandwich Guy. Sandwich Guy has a whole line of keto sandwiches,
Mm.
but then some of them include a barbecue chicken sandwich, which is questionable, and bacon sandwiches.
And you can taste that they're
And
sweet.
we tried the bacon, like, ooh, this bacon's sweet, so I probably can't eat it. So don't automatically think you can eat bacon on
Because
keto.
many think keto means no bread. But they're
Yeah.
ignoring the fact there are other sugar sources.
But when you eliminate the sugar, then that really helps. Really helps. So it really helps for keto to be more effective. So this has become a pork episode and the how to balance it with keto episode. Mine, no, it's not keto.
Sorry, man.
See, our show doesn't even exist. It's off to a rip roaring start. So that's great.
And then, are there any pork-based drinks?
Oh my god.
No, an honest
I
question.
know. It's like I'm trying to think. It's like, well, in general, meat doesn't feel like something that should be
Yeah.
a drink.
There isn't really. I mean, you have always in movies that joke about people in specific diets and stuff.
Like, I get all my nutrients from
Yeah,
this
they
drink.
blender the steak or something. As a child though,
Hmm.
me and my brother, we grew up with my mom blendering steaks, but that was beef, not pork.
Hmm. That's interesting.
It was our gerber, other than the real gerber.
Mitch is like 3 pork dishes you can eat for a year para may variety.
Well, I think we're doing that
I
already.
think that is our life already.
So that's pork chops,
Pork chops, pork sinigang,
and now liempo.
and then yeah.
But I wouldn't be against finding a way to do I'll say barbecue, only because what was this? It's like tori.
Oh, like Japan.
Yeah, so
those
it's
little
basically
barbecue
salt
cube.
and peppered, but we barbecue it.
without
Yeah.
barbecue sauce.
Yeah, so that's sort of
and just grilled pork.
I wouldn't be against working on something like that. I just don't know if we can do it in our oven.
Yeah, I mean, like we have a little luto of liempo. We've been baking it.
Yeah, so the liempo, I marinated overnight with a little bit of soy sauce, a little bit of calamansi, pepper, and then and then chili powder. And then before cooking, I make sure to salt the fat multiple times,
Mm.
and then a little bit of salt in the rest of it. I cook it in the oven at the temperature I always have it. I don't change the temperature anymore. For like 20 minutes.
It's about 200.
Yeah, and then I flip it over and cook it for another 30 minutes. But normally in the last 5 minutes, I kill the heat and then I cook eggs. So it like stays in the declining heat for like 10 to 5 to 10 minutes. I make sure always the pan at the bottom has vegetables, so they catch all the drippings and all the rendered fat, if any.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Mhm.
And then then the pork or the fat is like nicely soft,
Chicharron,
creamy. I mean, the edges get crisp, but then the
Yeah.
inside's like quite creamy, rendery. So that's nice. So good job, Toby. Super
Mhm.
appreciate that.
The first attempt, I tried a little bit of ketchup. Last sobrang obvious pa rin yung sugar niya. And that was just a little bit of ketchup.
Yeah, it's like a sachet. It's like a takeout sachet. I'm like,
So,
oh no.
It was surprising how much the
And
ketchup.
even Toby noticed it.
Yeah, even I found it.
Toby's a little more desensitized to
Yeah.
to the uh, to the sugar. So that's kind of fascinating. Okay. What else? But yeah, so like if I could learn adobo, I would like to learn adobo. I miss asado type things, but it's sugar, so no. Oh, Mitch, like for your sisig, with or without egg.
I prefer with,
I'm sorry, I grew up to appreciate
Mhm.
like the egg.
but I prefer with because for me it helps like a binder.
Yeah.
It helps make everything easier to eat.
But you know what I miss though is the sisig at trellis.
Okay.
That sisig is quite potent, no egg, but very good, very very good. Because we used to live when you live in Teachers Village. There's a trellis right there across from Unilane, which is
And
now Pure Gold.
I think us kasi we're like super into egg. I
Mm.
mean, we could have like 3 eggs each if we want in a meal. So
Well, now because that's our keto life. Well, my keto life
no, but
and
even
Toby's low
before,
carb. We
remember
used to have a lot of eggs.
we'd go out of town and stuff, and in the buffets with like omelette, please, and then another one, please, and then another one, please.
Okay, I would only just go once. Toby likes requesting different eggs to see what the guy's gonna do. So I'm not like a again because I don't fully get CC. Like I'm okay with it, but I don't like super get it. Then I appreciate it with egg. With the egg mixed in, that's fine. It works for me. What
So,
else?
is there ever corned pork?
Because there's corned beef.
Yeah.
Because there's that sad corn tuna, which
No, because I'm just
It's a
wondering.
travesty.
I mean,
because
um,
corning is a process.
yeah,
right?
which I presume is basically quote unquote like brining. You basically it's
The internet says yes.
There
There's
is a
corn
corned
pork
pork.
by the same people who do corned beef.
hmm. Can you check what it's if it's something we can have or if it's too
Probably
sugary?
not, but
Salt,
It's normally
salt,
cured
there,
with sugar.
Has sugar. But yeah, that was interesting to think about.
well, to be fair, because even naman, ano, even what's this? Corned beef. Like we still have some, but then like very minimal. Because I know it's like the nitrates are kind of high, and then it still has a fair amount of carbs. But then I can play that gamble a bit because we spread it out between me and Toby. So yay. Um, have you talked about bagnet? Bagnet confuses me because it feels very close to like lechon kawale
Mm.
and the like. And like, how do you differentiate?
Yeah, I've never understood what makes something bagnet. I thought it was just a local name for what we call lechon kawale.
In the early days, I used to be confused. Is it bangus? Okay, Karen's like, we just cook sisig without innards, just ground pork. Then doesn't that make it something else? Are pork grind the same with chicharron? Yes.
Officially, yes.
It's just that the Western term, but it's the
And-
same ingredient.
And I don't know if it's a specific part lang that it's called pork rinds, whereas tayo, any fatty part. Can be
Yeah, because
chicharron.
I feel like the U.S. It's like it almost feels like it's only the belly because it's
Yeah.
like shaped like the pork chop
and
edge.
and there is that they throw away a lot of the sweetmeats.
Yeah.
They throw away a lot of stuff. So I remember there was a cousin who used to go to the grocery and she can go home with free blood
Mm.
because they don't really use it and they're not allowed to sell it. So she'll bring home free blood and make dinuguan. And it's that sort of thing. And then, of course, Filipino restaurants started opening up and suddenly, whoa, these are expensive. So, yeah.
Mm-mm. So pork chop's been like my friend. Since I can't have popcorn or potato chips or corn chips
Mhm.
or anything, Then chicharron is like my go-to. Although like my main problem is after if I eat too much chicharron, then I retain so much water because of
Mm.
the salt. Then I'm heavier the next day. Then I get annoyed with myself. So I try to limit myself to a third or a half of the bag that we get, um, just to bounce out.
Yeah, bagnet is glorified liapo.
Because it's like liempo, but then they fry it more than it's tigas. No? Then that's why I feel like the texture is closer to lechon kawale. Then like I don't know. Then it's I didn't quite get it. We see it like at when we used to go to Mercato, and then we'd see like there's a bagnet stand, which is always like bagnet rice and
Mhm.
something, something,
Which
something,
is why I
something.
always felt it was a local thing. It's sort of like you know how they have this thing they call binalot, which is
Which is
practically
any food,
any rice
yeah,
meal,
wrapped up in banana.
and there's always a little bit of salt because that allows you to season the dish a bit.
And the salt and the red egg,
Yeah.
diba? The salted
So
egg.
so I thought that was something like that. Na bagnet was just their term for deep fried meat with a meal and stuff.
Okay. Mine is like, what restaurants do you go to that serve good pork dishes? Wow, it's so hard to think of restaurants now because
We haven't really
we
been
haven't
going.
really gone out. I guess in terms of like, I always feel like Spanish cuisine does great things with pork, and
Mm.
therefore I love like Las Flores is always
Yes,
great.
that's
Like
right.
the whether it's the chorizo or if you can get a pork panchinilla and all these things, super love that.
Mina, no. Sorry, no. Hopia,
Pork hopia, no,
no,
obviously. I mean, like no,
no. I mean, the fact that it has a pastry already involved, no.
no.
I'm sorry,
And
Mina.
then the mongo is even less keto because that's starch.
I'm so
No,
sorry.
no, Mina, it's not keto.
You can have it as keto by taking out everything and eating the pork.
Oh my God, Karen's like, I don't know, Barrio Fiesta. Okay,
Mm.
okay. I'm frustrated
Mhm.
because as a family, Barrio Fiesta was our one of our go-to places,
Mhm.
if not Josephine's when it was still in Metro Manila.
Mhm.
And then it was always you get the crispy pata, you get the kare kare,
Mm.
and then maybe we get the sinigang as a
Mhm.
soup at the beginning. Um, and then now I'm like stuck in like I can't enjoy that equation anymore because kare kare is not keto.
Yeah. And wasn't Barrio Fiesta? Wasn't there a time there was like only one Barrio Fiesta? The big.
The big one on
Yeah.
Edsa. I don't think that was the only one, but it became like the big one because it cropped up around the time that the
Mm.
Saisaki showed up, and
Yeah.
then
And
Saisaki
I
dads
remember
whatever.
the family used to go there, and it was always fascinating because they had all these things hanging in the ceiling.
That Barrio Fiesta, ironically, I don't remember it most for pork. I remember it for kohol because that's where I had to try kohol. And like,
Yes.
oh, we're eating snails. But then it's like also as a child, you're like, ooh, snails. I'm a boy. Yeah, it's funny. I walk by Las Flores every time I visit my mom, and then we still haven't eaten there in a long time. Don't worry, they're still alive in terms of like the BGC. You know
And
which restaurants are
and
alive or
they
dead.
have the high class, ano, right? You can order and then they'll prepare it, and
Yeah, something. They have a very expensive
but
delivery
you have to
service.
drive by to pick it up. I think. If I
But now
remember.
I think they're now on
They're doing
Foodpanda
deliveries
now.
as
Yeah,
well.
they're now doing proper deliveries. But in the early days of
I just remember they had that specific order thing, and you can drive by for pickup.
minor, kare cannot be keto, and like it's a peanut sauce.
Peanuts are not keto.
Every time I stop, I'm looking at like,
Okay,
let me go through the
so
recipes
kare
right here.
kare has peanuts. It has potatoes.
No,
No, no,
no, potatoes.
sorry.
Okay, you don't know how to cook. Okay, but that's okay. We use the mix. Um, so I'm always like on the fence about sitaw.
Mhm.
Banana heart, definitely no. And
Mhm.
then your kare kare mix and the kare kare stuff is like tricky. Oxtail is fine. And then depending on the mix kasi. But diba, the original, let's look for, sorry, I ended up on a Del Monte one, they recommend the mix. What the
Mm.
heck? Um,
But yeah, the peanuts. You crush the peanuts.
or some use peanut butter, which is super no.
Yeah, that really has sugar.
See, this one even has, this recipe has 1/2 cup toasted ground rice in it. Um,
That makes it
So
mas malapot.
so no. Which is I want to see this reaction on live, Miss Mine. No. No, kare is not. So there, that's my frustration that so I can have crispy pata and we've ordered crispy pata a few times from like Max,
Mhm.
which is weird. Like um I always feel bad when we don't order chicken from Max. But then there are times, but their kare kare is actually not, their crispy pata is not bad. Um, but then it's like I get so, but I get so umay from kare kare now because on its own, like I don't have rice and other things to break it down. Then yeah, maybe if you use almond peanut butter, possibly, but I feel like it'll change your flavor
Yeah,
profile. And
almond.
then uh,
I've lost net. Yeah,
and then you'll
I've lost
need,
net on both.
oh, that's weird. And then you'll need like special keto bagoong if you really want to like complete your kare kare experience because most fermentation creates sugars and then bagoong pa naman really has sugar. So yeah. So I still enjoy crispy pata, but I think between crispy pata now and lechon kawale, I'd rather go for lechon kawale, but then we always have to tell them to put the sauce on the side because the liver sauce I'm always suspect. Um and that. And then lechon is always welcome. To be fair, okay, we haven't talked about the wonderful world of belichon,
Hmm.
which is like as much as I appreciate the joy of seeing the whole pig, I just saw minus reaction to bago.
It should be a show.
It's gonna be a show. Like, no, classic bagong is not Tito. That's why you will see people when they make keto bagoong, they use
Stevia.
stevia, which is like I don't know.
And then if you have too much, bathroom time.
Yes, it's a bathroom time. Keto Zone has a keto bagoong alamang. I have not tried it. I cannot comment. So see, mine. That's why, like, whenever you have like your food pics and your live videos celebrating stuff, I'm always like, how how? Oh, and of course I went English, but um I miss the bichiang pork,
Hmm.
the little pork things. Oh my
Yeah.
god, that barbecue whatever pork.
The
I forgot what they call it. I forgot what they call it.
yeah, but it's sweet snack meat.
Preservy
Yeah,
jerky. Yeah,
that was yummy.
definitely can't have that anymore. Yeah, I think the world of cured pork products is amazing, and all the things you can come up with.
Mhm.
That's always super fun. Um, I think I'm gonna have to change the title of this episode to pork and then parenthesis. No, it's not keto, mine. Goodbye, binagoongan. Yeah, not a good idea.
And not to mention, it's best eaten with rice. So yeah, you
Yeah.
have to say goodbye to Bigang
So
Tongan.
yeah, I mean, like that's the no, that's the amazingness of kimchi. Kasi nga, it's like one of the few fermented products that the sugar production is not that significant,
Mhm.
and then you can still have it. Just moderate, because it's still a lot of stuff. And then you also have to avoid the okay. Karen mentioned luncheon meat. Oh my God, we haven't talked about the wonderful world of spam.
Mm.
Although
We used to have that a lot,
yeah,
and I even used to keep a stock of it.
you
But
still technically have, but it moves a lot slower now because it's just cooking for you.
yeah,
And admittedly, I've always had a preference for like the Chinese style luncheon meat than American spam, which is
Oh.
funny. I not that I'm not against spam, but spam's pretty good. But then like and it to be fair, it doesn't have to be maling anymore. Before it was like it must be maling, but then actually the Chinese style pure foods
It's
luncheon
pretty
meat
good.
is good.
Yeah, and not as expensive.
Mitch is like spam must have its own episode, but it's not I mean, like a lot of processed
We don't
pork
have that
products,
much to say about it anymore.
and it's not because it's not very keto.
But we did used to. So there's basically frying it, and we have it with rice. And then there
Ooh.
was a time we tried to make our own musubu
Oh yeah,
because we were able
that
to
was
get
true.
the
The
nard
Japan and the
sheets,
Japanese, and we got the Japanese like
the
vinegar
Japanese
thing.
rice vinegar that we cook rice, we fan it out so it cools a bit, and then we put the rice vinegar and we start stirring it so it becomes nicely flavorful. Rice,
Mm.
but Japanese rice vinegar has a lot of sugar. Carbs, 2 grams.
Not bad. It's
Mm.
but it's like a 56-gram serving. What is a 56-gram serving of spam? I need proper nutrition facts. Okay. Oh, my fitness pal. That's good.
So a
Two
slice.
two slices of is still a gram of carbs.
Mhm.
So which is like I know it's like in the realm of a lot of processed meat. Like it ends up gathering carbs along the way. Then I just say for now.
Yummy spam and egg and nor. Oh yes, that's good with Vienna sausage. Spam has that nice joy of just enjoying and eating it. It makes you feel good. It's not the type of food that feels greasy, surprisingly.
But Mina, be careful with the nor seasoning. A tablespoon has 4 grams of carbs. It's not super keto because you're just adding sugar to your food. I will wait for the chat to update. But okay, but this is also just the level of like keto obsession I've been
Mhm.
maintaining myself on. That I'm just very very careful. Okay.
Mhm.
And then like there it is, Nor. Oh my god.
So it's not just looking for the word sugar.
It's
You
looking
have
at the label
you
and
have
the
to look
carb results.
yeah for the word carbs as well because sometimes it's not just sugars that give you the carbs.
But ironically, with this, all the sugar, all the carbs in Nor are from sugar.
Yeah.
It falls off bed. I mean, it's okay, but just be very moderate. Like you're like measure out how much you
Okay,
have.
how much grams of sugar do you allow yourself in a day?
I try to work. I try to work under 20
So if
that
you're
I'm aware of.
so if you're working under 20, in theory, if you have nor,
I can have 4
yeah,
5 tablespoons of
consider
Nor.
that. So if you have nor, one lagyay, tama na, and you're still safe.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
you still have enough carbs for like a little bit of coffee and you know. So I guess that's what you just have to do, Maina. You just have to pay
No, I don't have
attention.
carbs in my coffee because I don't sugar.
Well, I was giving Maina as the example.
Oh no.
So best to at least pay attention to that. So you can still have it, but at least
Because
you're
then
keeping one.
then remember like your spam. How many slices of spam do you have?
Mm.
Then if two slices of spam
That's
is already a
already-
gram
So you already have 5 grams already for
for the Nor
the
and
dish
the
pa lang. And then if you have an extra 2 more, then you have 6 grams. But then afterwards you'll eat your kare-kare. So suddenly you're 15 grams na. So that's the thing. You'll just have to pay attention to what. So you can still enjoy it, but you space it out or you
There is the argument that anything is keto in moderation.
Yes.
Hence, like that's why I still indulge. I have like a Hershey's. I have a Hershey's Kiss with almonds. I can have one and like suck on it. And then, like, yay, sweet.
Mhm.
And then the anything with an almond kind of helps offset with your fiber, but then I still watch the numbers when I watch the charts. But we're getting off track of the pork.
Okay.
At least mine is off creamer. Good job. I just have oil in my coffee. MCT. Yay. Okay. Wow, what else can we talk about with pork?
I think that's pretty much it. We don't have much options
Mine's like choose your battles, choose your carbs.
for
Totally.
dessert-based pork stuff. We don't.
Yeah,
really have. I mean, the
yeah.
closest we had was what the candied chicharon that we had in some ice cream stuff we had.
And the candied bacon. But like whenever we have candied bacon and ice cream, it's always like,
I always feel it's more candy than bacon.
yeah. Then it doesn't feel like you're getting that bacon
I
experience.
mean, it's not even like that nice jerky thing we like, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
it's meat, but it's really sweet.
Mm-mm. So that's funny. So yeah, I don't know. That's a pork episode. Have you ever made friends with a pig?
Yes.
We wait. Why is that so big?
No, I have had because we used to have a farm. Remember?
Yeah.
We had the poultry and stuff, and there was a pig that I befriended, and that did not end well. I was not supposed to befriend it, but I did.
Okay. What I know you generally like pigs a
Mhm.
lot. So let's talk about that. What's with you and this pig thing? And then like, well, to be fair, like one of my favorite shirts that I've seen on Toby is a brown shirt that says lechon. And then it's like it's a pig.
There was a time I was really just collecting pigs, whether it's a stuffed toys or pig figurines, and I actually still have a lot of them. They're just
Mm-mm.
I guess I just outgrew the interest.
Why? You say you got involved with the pig and now you're satisfied?
No, it's just
I say this in a pink shirt.
I guess before I was happy to have the stuff displayed, but now I prefer stuff I can use.
That's maturity.
Because
for
I
you.
also used to have a lot of stuffed toys.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I just
that's
love
true.
them displayed on the bed and stuff. But
We've been slowly phasing them out. And
but
like,
then there was that realization that they're in the way.
they gather
Yeah,
dust.
so
Such a pain.
I kind of outgrew that too. So
But yeah, the super like Toby had like at least 3 pig things in the car.
Mm.
There was like the 2 together hanging, and then the one the little
Mhm.
pillow pig, and then
and then there were all the other assorted pig stuffed toys and the pig figures. Because the pig figures, I even had old college friends who were giving me some from their own collections. And
like one of the early things you gave me your little pig beanie,
Mhm.
right? And that was like when we were
that
still.
was a beanie.
That was like because I gave you Wheelie, you gave me the pig.
Hmm.
That was our exchange of keepsakes.
Yeah, but I don't recall it ever having a major reason behind it. I just found them cute, and I found those cute more than dogs because I was afraid of dogs. Cats, I didn't like cats, and then all the other stuffed toys, if they were normal looking, they'd be boring.
Mm.
So I kind of like the sadder alien ones, where I'd be like, "No one will love you. I will love you."
Yeah, Toby's rescue of stuffed animals, stuffed toys of strange design. Karen, I was thinking, alpaca must be very dusty. To be fair, I think your windows are closed, so that helps. I mean, like it's not like
Yeah.
your your room, your unit is super exposed to the elements, so that
Mhm.
should be okay. Uh, yeah. So that's it. I think
Yeah, that's pretty much
that
it.
checks all our boxes for the pigs. Oh, mine is like favorite movie with pigs in it.
Hmm.
It's not Babe.
Not Saw,
Oh my god.
but it had a guy with a pig head. Um,
I'm googling movies with pigs. Babe, Charlotte Webb. Why they put Okja in here? Oh, Porco Rosso is a good one.
Okja had those giant monsters that kind of were acting
But
like pigs.
technically, they were a different animal.
Yeah. Porco Rosso, of course, Spirited Away. Um,
Oh, The Simpsons because Spider Pig, Spider Pig. He could never what Spider Pig does.
but yeah, that's pretty much the only ones I remember.
Wow, and then Charlotte's Web keeps coming up, but Charlotte's Web is like quite sad. So, oh my god. Okay. My Karen was like pig, and I babe pala. Pig in the city. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's like that's a funny thing. Big movies aren't like a big thing. You have more movies maybe about cooking and like, ooh, this pork dish and like chef and whatnot, and it's all about fabulous pork dishes.
And that's partly because there has been a stigma against pigs in the sense of they're always seen as the dirty animal.
Unclean.
Yeah, despite supposedly they're the ones who are cleaner
Super
than most
clean.
animals.
And then like sweat, like you sweat like a pig when pigs don't sweat. It's like all these things,
Mhm.
right? So
So
they just salivate.
yeah, and
Okay.
I will have to admit that it freaked me out to realize that they were hairy.
Yeah, yeah.
As a kid, I always thought they were like
It's just
smooth,
like so smooth and
polished,
pink.
pink things, and then when I saw a real pig, I'm like, why does it look that? Why is there so much hair? And that freaked me out. And then it freaked me out more when I learned that they are carnivorous.
Yeah.
Because I always thought they were like, nice plant eating
No, they
things.
totally could eat each other.
Yeah, and wasn't that the device in some movies wherein the bodies would be disposed of for the pigs to eat?
Yeah. Like,
Ooh. But that's a duck. But with that second duck, I guess that means that's all the time we have for this episode. We had a lot of fun, and we hope you'll join us again next time.
if you have questions or suggestions for future episodes, fill up the Google form at bit.ly Baduy Pride Ideas. Thanks again to Kenny for making us talk about pork for an hour.
About tomorrow.
And then
Tomorrow is a big night, so please do make time to join us. We are having guests. It's our first set of guests for this year, right?
yeah, and it's already March.
And
my
it
God.
is to celebrate something called
The Drag Academy.
PH.
So
The Drag Academy PH.
yes,
We have to remember the PH. We have friends who are part of it, but only we aren't close yet to everyone else.
yeah. I mean, we've already had MC on the show,
Yes.
but then it's our first time to have Mrs. Tan and Clea Torres. And
Mhm.
actually, I have very little interaction with Clea Torres apart from the preparation for this episode. But they will be on online tomorrow at 9 to talk about the Drag Academy, and hope you all can join us. It's gonna be very exciting. Yay! And then, yeah, it's our first guest episode. I haven't worked out the next ones, and we should actually start conversations to invite other people.
Yes.
Of course, you can follow us on Twitter, Altobi No Shade, RG Sunico.
You can also check out our blog, baduypride.com, for all the previous episodes and stuff about us.
Feel free to continue the conversation in the comments below and let us know what you think about pigs, pork, and derived products. And maybe someone can answer Karen's question. Is it true that pigs eat everything?
Supposedly, yes.
It's like practical.
Supposedly, they don't really care what they eat because they are omnivores. But I guess they are choosy.
They're very human. No, it's just possible. Well, if you have a better answer, fill it out in the comments. And be sure to subscribe for notifications, whether on Facebook or YouTube, so you don't miss our next live stream. Once again, I'm Rocky.
And I'm Toby.
And this is Baduy Pride. Good night and see you tomorrow.